Welcome to the Soul Searching Experience Luxury Retreat. I am your host Florian Rölke and I'm going to explain to you briefly what this seminar is all about. As the slides are open, Soul Searching Experience Seminar, find life's guidance, live your dream and be a leader of change to the world, because the world is calling for us to rise right now and be a leader of change in our own life, and then take some responsibility also for the people and the problems that surround us, which are probably plenty of and in reach. And so finding life's guidance and living the life of our dreams. First of all, why would we? Why would we live the life of our dreams? And why shouldn't we just do what everybody else is doing and go the path of fear? Of not knowing what would that say about me if I gave it my all and I would still not be good enough, and what would that actually mean if I would succeed, if I would achieve. What would that mean to my situation, to my living circumstances, to my bank account, to the perception of the people that I value their opinion very highly? What would that mean? Why wouldn't we not follow this path, and why would we follow the path of our dreams instead? Well, because we all have to deal with the repercussions of the actions that we did and didn't take. And so, living the life of your dreams, if you have this burning desire inside of you that says, I have this life of my dreams and I want to have my life in this certain kind of way. I remember I had this so deep inside of me that I just did not want to be told. That was basically it. I was just away from something. It's like, no man, I didn't necessarily want it so much to create this life of my dreams. I really wanted to not be told. I am not going to be told by a boss what to do. Because what was also always most important to me was following this inner guidance that I had, right? And I knew exactly what was right for me and for my life. But I didn't quite know how to actualize that. I didn't quite know how to make this real. And there were a lot of lessons on the way that I'm going to be sharing as we're going through these videos that I did not quite understand and comprehend before that. But now I actually do. And I'm looking so forward to be able to make more videos about that, combining that as well with rest and with physical exercise and with reflection time upon all of the systems that I'm going to be building right now and here in the future. Going forward with that, learning how to speak, learning how to articulate, learning how to communicate the things that are so burning inside of my soul that want to be born into this world. Okay, so finding life's guidance, living the life of your dreams, and being a leader of change in the world, taking the action that we need to take in order to live the life of our dreams. This is very important because life changes through action. But we all know kind of what we need to do. If you go to any kind of if you go to any motivational Instagram page, you know pretty much, if you go to any motivational Instagram page, you know what to do. You get up early, you eat clean, you take a cold shower or you don't, you have a bit of a journal exercise or you don't, you meditate and you have an exercise practice, and you surround yourself with good people, you humble yourself, you have a growth mindset. Ideally, you follow God and you get married instead of sleeping around. And you have good friends in your life, and to simplify what you do so you don't disperse your energy in all kinds of different directions. And so it's not that hard. You got to be disciplined and motivated, and you got to believe in yourself when nobody else is. You got to stay positive. It's not that complicated. Please tell me if any of these things that I've just uttered are surprising or new to you, are novel to you. I do not think so. And if they are, then you're welcome. But I don't think they are. And so we know already what we need to be doing in this lifetime. It is pretty obvious and pretty clear what it is that we need to be doing in this lifetime in order to get to the life of our dreams. It's pretty straightforward, but then comes the but. Then comes the reality of life, that you gotta eat and defecate 3 times per day, that sometimes you're tired and you don't feel like working, and that there are only so many hours in the day and there are so many systems to maintain, and you gotta, get the clothes washed and the food prepared. I don't say that you need to be the person doing that, but you gotta have access to food and shelter and clothing and everything else that entails with that, plus some bills that probably need to get paid for the electricity and all of that. Cancel your TV bill and Netflix. That would be a great idea. But electricity probably needs to be paid, right? And if not, you also would need to pay for candles. And so, yeah, and if you don't ride your bicycle, you probably will need to have some gasoline, right? Although riding the bicycle would be an excellent idea. Anyways, so soul searching experience, luxury retreat. Take the actions that we need to do in order to live the life of our dreams. Well, in order to live the life of our dreams, as I said, it comes down to taking action. Taking actions, that's how life ultimately changes. But if it were so easy, everybody of us would do it, wouldn't we? And here come the invisible factors of life that impact our action taking. As I said before, sometimes we are tired and we do not feel like working. And then how do we decide? How do we decide whether we take the rest or whether we just keep gritting through it and we keep pushing through it? And there's a point either way, because sometimes rest is not necessarily physical. Sometimes we're just emotionally tired and exhausted. And then, we can have fixes in the moment, and then we also want to take a look at how can we engineer our environment and the way that we habitually live our lives so that we don't get to these places in the first place. And this is basically the essence of what I do and the outcome of the work that I do with people, especially in the Soul Searching Experience live seminar, where it is about energetic balance. It is about engineering our life circumstances and our habitual action, who we surround ourselves with, in a way that this is conducive and beneficial to the life of our dreams that we want to be building. So taking the actions that we need to take in order to live, here comes the lunch. Not so bad. That's what I mean. You don't need to be the person cooking. Somebody else can. All right, see you soon. Right, that is called an honest signal when you get called anyways. But yeah, so here we go. The journey begins, so the initial vision. So there are basically three main themes of the seminar. As scratching the top of my head activates the pineal gland, it is all good. It really helps with thinking sometimes. To just make sounds and scratch your head. And so we're back here and present. Yeah, energetic balance is certainly an interesting topic. I'm so great and so glad and grateful that I've had this morning, although I've, went to bed for another 2 hours, but I've also had a tremendous win last week that I've built up to for quite a while. It's like, if you put, 1.5 or 2.5, 3 weeks of where you overextend a bit, then you're gonna have a few days where the energy is not quite there. And I've learned how to not fight this anymore. That's exactly what we mean with energetic balance, because you have only so much energy each day. Yes, you can leave it all out on the field, and that's great, and gritting through it. But what I, in my personal approach, really believe in is that we find a way to engineer our life circumstances and everything else around us in a way that it gives us more energy, that we have more energy at our disposal each and every day. And so the journey begins from initial vision to structured experience. So first of all, the first theme of the seminar, first of all, let me tell you, if I may, and if you permit me, I'm not asking for permission. Anyways. Learning how to speak. So, initial vision. So first of all, the way that the seminar is going to work, it is a small group setting between 5 and 8 people, and we are going to have also other activities at the end of each night, where we're also having other experiences at the end of each night. For example, we are going to have a voice solution, a voice agent by a good friend of mine, and I was just thinking, how do I do this? Do I give him free service in barter for his service, or shall I rather pay him up front the thing and install this myself? It's all good. Barter is tax free. This is great because no money is involved. This is beautiful. This is very efficient. So the journey begins in the soul searching experience. There will be about 30 to 90 minutes of an introductory talk where I'm going to be conveying the information that are necessary to understand for the seminar to be effective and to drive the roots deep into the habits that we want to have in this lifetime. And so yeah, 30 to 90 minutes. Anyways, that was a good video, and that is good enough. 10 minutes, easy.